So oh no, I'm gonna go here. Better if I go here. Okay, so the title for today. Oh, by the way, it's the fifth and last? Is that right?
That's correct. Yes, yeah. We will see you here in San Francisco next time on the 17th of November.
Okay, so the title for today is Ontology of the Subject, and I can even put a question mark. And the graph of the desire. Okay, so to begin with, why do I put a question mark here? It's because.
You need to, Jacques.
Oh, sure. Excuse me. Yeah, you're right.
Thank you.
Okay, sure. Must be better that way. You have disappeared, Christopher. Okay, so why do I put a question mark? Because to join in the same sentence ontology and subject, it's I would say some kind of oxymoron, some contradiction in the terms. And the first part we are going to try to explain in what why these two terms are some kind of impossibility. Okay. Let's first have a look at this sentence. Okay. Can you see it? Is it okay? I am a thief. What you say?
It's been stolen.
Oh, sure. That's what it has to be. Yeah. I am a thief. Okay. If you look at this sentence, it's a very simple sentence with the verb to be, subject and object. Well, object which is an attribute in a way. And if you the temptation is to focus on the verb to be, and as well, it is very close to the classical Christian or Christian way of dealing with the guilt. Can you see the difference between this sentence and if I say? I committed, say, a burglary. Okay? These two sentences are very different. On the first one, what is shown is that this tries to touch the ontology of the subject of I. I am a thief, meaning that it is in my being. Meaning that there is no temporality. It is my identity. I am a thief. And in the second sentence, there is another dynamic, of course. I committed a burglary. And this is due to this difference in temporality. There is an actualization of the fact that it's not possible to have an identity for a subject. Okay, in these two sentences, we focus on the first tendency is to focus on the verb, to commit, to be. And when a patient comes to see us, usually he's stuck with on the verbs. And if you listen to the sentences that he says during a few months, I would say, he always focuses on this. I'm not going to look for examples. You can find as many examples as you wish by yourself. And if there is something that has to do with the desire of the analyst is to help the subject to go this way. I forgot something important, is the period at the end of the sentence, which marks the stop in the enunciation. So the tendency is to focus on some kind of identity, and the work, the desire of the analyst is to focus on the subject of the sentence, the subject of the enunciation. Okay. So now let's have a look at the next sentence. Okay, as you can see, things are getting worse. To begin with, I was a thief, and now I killed someone. And so, if you look at this sentence, I killed a guy. Okay, so the first tendency is to focus on the verb to kill. But if there is a work that has to be done, is to help and to focus on what's happening there. Well, the subject, because look, if I am a soldier, and if the guy is an enemy, I can have a medal for what I've done, and the president is gonna send me a beautiful note saying that I'm a hero. So if I was insane at that time, I did something and I was not responsible for what I did. if it's someone who crossed the street in front of me by running, and I was on my car, and it's an accident, and I won't. This I is someone else again, and I won't be prosecuted. If it's my neighbor, probably I have many problems. So you see, if you focus on killed, on the verb, you have no idea of what's happening, except someone died. And if you focus on the subject, then you encounter many possibilities, which and the consequences of these possibilities here for the next sentence after the period are going to be very different, depending on the fact if I was insane, if it's an accident, if it's a crime, if it's if I'm insane. I said that already. The consequences are going to be very different. Okay. So you see again, the consequences are totally different if you look at the verb or if you look at the subject. And we can now come to what is coming next. Is that then after this period, the next I. Yeah, you can see that. The next I is going to be different depending on the circumstances. Okay, now a more complex example. I don't want you to read everything at one time, so okay. So look at this sentence. Yesterday, I saw the moon. Okay. There can be a period here, but it's a comma. Okay, and let's carry on the sentence. Refreshed by the storm. Having left place. For a shining night full of stars. As you can see, through this sentence, there is something shifting. There is a shift. There is a shift that accompanies the enunciation of this discourse. And what is this companion? It is what is following the I. It is there where the subject is. The subject is following each word of the sentence. It is never. You can stop the subject if you put a period. Yesterday I saw the moon. Full stop. Period. Yesterday I saw the moon refreshed by the storm. Okay, that's my gaze on the moon. My subjectivity. I was sensible. I was sensitive to this. I was sensitive to this event. Having left place for a shining night full of stars. There, even you can grab something that has to do with some kind of desire. I was talking about the moon, but I was sensitive to the shine of the night, shining of the night. Okay. Period. Then the end of the sentence. I started to cry. Okay? At my long gone youth. Okay. There is a new subject here occurring. Can you see? Yeah, it goes to the bottom. Yeah, it seems so. Started to cry at the long gone of my long gone youth. Except the fact that it's a very, very poor poetry. What's interesting here is that it is the fundamental function of the subject, which is a shift function, a shifting function. Is the shifter. The subject is a shifter. Okay, so this is the basis of what I wanted to tell you tonight. If there were only one thing to remember, is that the subject is a shifter. Therefore, this is how you can grab that it's. There is a fundamental oxymoron in the fact that someone is trying to talk about ontology of a subject. Because the ontology is something that is structurally static. The ontology of a cat, of a human being, it's something that is like written in the bronze. And the drama is that most of the psychology and ego psychology, IPS, psychoanalysis, is based on this ontology. Oh, this guy, he is a schizophrenic. He has a PTMD. He is hysterical. He is. And with DSM, the diagnostic number 215-B is what he is. All these ways of talking about human beings is to talk about human beings as objects, laboratory objects. And this is the usual tendency. And if something has to be learned by psychoanalysis is to go from the object to the subject. From now, you can already see that there is something that in the diachrony of the enunciation of the sentence, there is something that goes like this, which is the time of the enunciation, and something that goes like this. Okay? And there is some matching here and here. And this is now what we are going to talk about. And by following Lacan in what is called the graph of the desire. Okay, we are going to go through a series of graphs which have been elaborated between 57, 58 and 60, 61, and which have evolved by in these 4 years. Okay, what do we have here? We have here, we figure something that is very similar to what we have said so far. Okay, like this. So this here, from S to S prime, is the process of enunciation of a sentence or group of sentences. And something is supposedly signified by this sentence, and what is signified comes back to the very beginning of the sentence as a this is so here we have a series of signifiers which are enunciated by the subject. Okay, so here we have the process of enunciation of the sentence, and something, when we reach the period of the sentence, something is grabbed and comes back to the very beginning of the sentence. Lacan called this I don't know if you have the word in English. It's maybe you can help me. It's you know what you call that? I write it in French. Point de capiton. Do you have a word like this in English? Huh?
Roughly translated as a button hook.
Button what?
Button hook.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly what you have on a mattress, or you know these. Okay, something that I killed a guy. There is some button like this when this enunciation, which is so strong that there is a failure in understanding what's important in this sentence. And due to our culture, most people are going to focus on the fact that it's killed. Because it's all stuck together. I killed a guy. Okay? There is a time to say, I killed a guy. But when I reach the period, it's stuck together. There is this button. Say again, button what?
Hook. H-O.
Oh, okay. Button hook. Okay. There is immediately this hook phenomenon. And seeing this tendency, the analyst has to listen to this, to what's here, which is the subject. And as you see, the subject is reached by this retroaction. Okay. So now, I think I'm going a bit too fast. Do you have questions so far? No? Okay. Okay, so now we are coming to the presentation Lacan made in 57 or 58 of the same scheme. It was in a paper called in French Les formations de l'inconscient. I say the structures of the unconscious in a way. So we have something very similar here, and noting here again we have the so-called the signifying chain. Okay, and as we have reached the period, we have built a discourse.
Something that occurs to me is that in normal thought, when normally you write any indication of time, T1 is on the left and T2 is on the right. But in this diagram, to be accurate, T1 has to be on the right and T2 on the left.
T1 on the right and T2 on the left. That's what you said.
Left, because you first hear the start of the sentence, which is at T1.
Yeah.
But the period doesn't come until T2.
That's right.
The end of the sentence.
That's right.
So this graph represents time as we experience it, but not time as we would normally write it.
Can you explain that?
If I take an XY coordinate system and I put T0 at the 0 point and put time on the x-axis, time moves in a positive direction.
That's right.
T0, T1, T2. But in this diagram, represent time accurately, T2 has to be on the left, where the period would be.
Well, yes and no. Look. Oh, yeah. Okay. Look, you have the T1 here and goes up to T2 here in a way. But then there is a T3. We can say to follow John that we have a T3 which is here. Because it is that we can say that it's the time to understand. If I tell someone I killed a guy, there is the T1 and T2. But as soon as I said that to the other, there is going to be a T3 time, which is the effect the effect of my sentence on this subject. It definitely is going to have an effect on this person, and this is the T3 here, which goes back and between the period and the understanding and the return by the other, there is a time. If I say that directly to a cop in the street, as soon as he understands what I'm saying, I'm gonna get handcuffed probably. You see, there is a T3. So if we follow the time goes like this and goes like this to reach here a subject. And in a way, it's when I decide to say I killed someone, I killed a guy, I decide to send a message. And this message is going to have some consequences depending on the code I'm on. If it's my lieutenant and I'm a soldier, I say, hey, I just killed a guy. And the code is that he say, oh, you're brave. You're brave. You see? It's there is these dimensions that have to be grabbed. Okay? And the T3 is maybe a week later I'm gonna get a medal. Okay? So this is and there we have a line. It is a line that's going to be explained better later by Lacan, which is to begin with. He named that line going from the I as a shifter to an object, and but I think then 2 or 3 years later it was much more explicit than this. And here we are. We come to this new graph. Oh yeah, thank you for mentioning this. Okay. Okay, so what do we have here? Here, to begin with, Lacan named this the message and this the code. And now and this I and object. And then he changed the nominations of this particular point in the graphs. Okay. Okay, let's come back to the same sentence, same structure, with a series of signifiers. Which are uttered. Reaching the end of this sentence, how does this sentence grabs a meaning for the subject? I am a killer. I killed the guy. Here, this reaches the what's written here as big A, or the big other, but the big other as being the big reservation of signifiers. At that time, Lacan named that a treasure. The treasure of signifiers. And why is it in a way appropriate to call it that way? It is appropriate because it's it starts a meeting between I, who is having this enunciation, and the person I'm telling that to. So there is some kind of matching here, which is going to have many consequences. If I'm saying something as important, as serious as saying that I killed a guy. And there is here some kind of presentation of some kind of primary identification between these two subjects, the one who is talking and the one who is listening. It's a simple way to describe Don't take this into account so far. It's a way to describe the primary identification. And this feedback movement, this retroaction here fixes some kind of punctuation. Of the chain. Okay, and what do we have here? No, put it back again at the bottom. Okay, what do we have here? When we reach the period, we can be certain that it is a subject who has pronounced this sentence. Here, there is the invention of a new subject here. Okay? And what is there? There is some kind of ideal reached. For instance, if I am a soldier and if I talk to my lieutenant, it's a way to be sure that I've reached some kind of ideal of I, of ego. Okay? But this is the scheme going through the acceptance of this enunciation. But of course, this is not always the case. And I would say that most of the time when we talk, we talk not as actual subject versus subject, not actual intersubjectivity. Most of the time, the way we discuss with others is much more vain than this, and this vanity is expressed here as a here we have figured some kind of imaginary shortcut. And this imaginary shortcut goes from some kind of I ideal to some ego. I'm so proud of myself that I have the feeling that nothing can reach me, and I say, oh well, yeah, of course, you know. And mainly if I used a lot of beers, I say, yesterday, you know, I killed a guy, and it's some kind of shortcut that is very common in the discussions, and this is a way to show that I am superior to the other, and it's all this imaginary scheme that goes directly from a subject to have the feeling that I'm going to reach some ideal of I by these shortcuts going from the ideal ego to the ego. This is, of course, very common, and it's some kind of delusional process. Okay, so we have some kind of look. Here we had some kind of one story building. Then now we have a 2 stories building. Okay, so far?
Could you also say that lower level, because of its being stretched between the ideals, keeps the ego as an object?
The sound is very low. Can you say again, please?
That the lower level,
much better,
because it's stretched between the ideals,
keeps the subject trapped in the ego as an object.
Exactly. This is object versus object. There is in a way the subjectivity. The subjectivity is immediately trapped. The subject is trapped through an imaginary process, which never even go up to the treasure of signifiers. And this is a very common resource of humor. For instance, take take the way a clown is working. Usually, a clown is playing a jackass or dumb, and but it is for a third person, which is the person in the audience. We know that the clown is not as dumb as he figures in in the role he is playing, in his character. Oh yeah, maybe it's going to be better, John, like this. But Okay, so a clown is using these two levels. He's playing as if his character, look, let's say it that way. The character of the clown is going here and here. But he is talking to, he is addressing to the audience and the audience is aware that it is there that that it's gonna between the audience and the clown, we know that it is here, that it is that the relationship, the intersubjectivity between the clown and his audience is here, and this gap, I would say, is the source of the humor. Okay? Okay, so now we let's go now to the doesn't work, huh, John? No, not at all. Much worse. Okay, so we are now coming to the elaboration of the third story. Say a couple of words. Oh, no.
No, okay.
Oh, say again. Talk.
How about now?
Oh, yeah, good. Very good, very good, very good. So this is about the elaboration of the third story of the graph. Okay, here we have the same structure. But there we elaborate a bit more what is between what is involved in this enunciation. Lacan phrased this third retroaction by saying che vuoi in Italian. What do you want? What do you want? And immediately this leads to another question, which is, what does he want from me? And this couple, what do you want? What does he want from me? Is at the heart, at the core of the elaboration of this story. And by putting down this question, this double question, what do you want? What does he want from me? for these questions to be able to be thought, it needs there is the need for a desire, which is figured here. It is because there is a desire, I presume that there is a desire in the other, my other, and the other's other, with a big O or big A, that I'm licit to ask this question: what do you want? And what does he want from me? Okay? And we had the subject here, and now the subject is going to be stuck to an object. Que voi? What do you want? What object do you want? What does he want from me? What object does he want? And this object A and this and the subject become stuck. Are stuck in a bizarre structure. In a structure that is totally coherent with this question mark. This is why it's figured as a diamond, lozenge, whatever. And for those who are not accustomed to the use Lacan did of this diamond, okay, this diamond is has to be understood as an operator, which is an operator that can be opened or closed. You see something? I need my two hands, sorry. Where am I? Something that is like this or like this. This is the diamond when it's opened, but it can be closed. Okay? And so when it is figured like this, this is a hole, like a hole in the paper of the board. Okay? And when I try to answer to this question, I hope that this hole is going to be closed for a while. And this structure, subject, diamond A, is called by Lacan the fantasy. Okay? I think you can be sensitive to the fact that, to this question, what do you want? What does he want from me? The answer has a structure of a fantasy. For instance, many people are very sensitive to metals, and if I killed an enemy, I probably am going to receive a medal. And this is my fantasy that have been recognized by my chief, by my country, and so on and so forth. So, as you see, one consequence of a sentence that goes through the A and is that it builds a fantasy. By having the feeling that there is an answer, therefore, to the question. Okay, so it's another way to talk about the shifter function, and what is structural to the subject is that it leads to some kind of fading. It's something is through this sentence, as I mentioned earlier, the subject is shifting all along the discourse. And as it is shifting, it fades as well. What was the subject in the previous sentence? It faded away. So therefore, the question of the fantasy is always new. If I come back to this trivial poetic sentence, it's a series of fantasies, and actually we can but it's faded so much that I've lost it. Oh no, it's because it's after. If I read the whole sentence, the I saw the moon. I saw the moon has faded away when I come to here. I started to cry at my long gone youth. You can see this there. We have the shifting and the fading. What does remain? What are the fantasies that remain? The fantasies that remain at when I reach this period. is a very different fantasy than the one that is here. Yesterday I saw the moon. It's another fantasy. So here we have a depiction of what's the fading of the subject and the shifting of the subject, and this is normal. So if we put together shifting and fading, then the consequence is that the subject is only at the present time. It's the subject follows you all along the subject follows you all along the enunciation of your sentences. I think that's very important, and you see that it's totally incompatible with the ontology. The ontology is static, and the subjectivity is shifting and fading.
The subject is represented by a signifier for another signifier.
Exactly. Okay, so now we come to the complete the complete graph, the total graph, which has four stories.
Can we see the whole graph?
Sure. Yes, there should be good. Except for the bottom, but the bottom is always the same. It's S bar and I of A. Okay. Okay. So what do we have here? If we're coming back here again. Of course, here we deal with the symbolic stage, symbolic story of the graph, because it's the series of signifiers and what's going to come back to my ideal of I. Here again we have the weightless sentences with no weight at all, which is, of course, the most frequent sentences that we utter. We usually talk not to say anything. Okay. So if we remember what was on the previous graph, this is something that occurs while there is this return. And this is the desire path. with this fantasy structure. And now the question is, why are we so interested in this path? Why are we why do we have such an interest in enjoying our fantasies? Or we can put it that way, how can that be possible? What are the conditions necessary for experiencing this desire and coming to the elaboration of a new fantasy? For this to be possible, it needs that the structure has to be present, has to be there in the subject. The structure has to be possible and invented for the subject, and this coming from when he was a child. And this possibility can be said to be due to the fact that there is a limit in the jouissance of the subject. Here we have some kind of renewal of the jouissance of the subject. How can that be possible? This is possible because this desire has been turned into a demand. It has turned into a demand due to the fact that there is not all jouissance is possible. There we have what limits the subject and the demand. It's at the anchor of the subjectivity and the animality. Can say it that way. And this is called in English, the drive, I think. Yeah, I think so. It's pulsion in French. And I think it's drive. Okay? And not all jouissance being possible is a reminiscence or a reactivation of the process of castration. So here we have a bizarre structure. It's due to some, so here we have, of course, some imaginary, and there is something imaginary as well. But due to the fact that beyond there is a real. So we come here again to these three dimensions which occur in this graph of desire. Do you have some questions so far?
Yes. So what is the upper line that corresponds to the line of enunciation? I mean, there is this thing that's happening in the upper loop, right? So
you mean here?
S of A, yeah, but just below. So that's very similar to this. Could you talk about how this line corresponds to the lower traversal of the symbolic chain of signifiers? Because it's very much like that.
Say that again.
Except that it's the same position but shifted upwards. That's a line that corresponds to the chain of signifiers, but at a higher level in the structure of desire, right?
Okay. My interpretation is that this line, if that is the one you are mentioning, this line is the pendant of this line, but for the other. These are in a way figuring, how can I say that? I would say that this has to deal with my history. This is how I deal with my previous encounters of my jouissance and castration. This I would say that this path is possible due to the fact that in my treasure of signifiers I have this path already written. That's how I would say it. And there is some kind of matching that is another way to talk to depict what I said last time. When an object of reality becomes an object of desire, it's another way to say that. In my interpretation, figures we say the possibleness, the word does not exist, but the possibility of having this path possible. It is due to my previous experiences that there is something that occurs in my new discourse. If as again as a soldier I say I killed a guy, an enemy, it is because I have been forged by my I don't know how you call these guys, soldiers, these instructors, to know how to kill someone, and this jouissance, even maybe it was not pleasure to kill someone, but this jouissance with the castration here, that is to avoid to be killed, and to have grabbed the know-how to kill an enemy without being killed myself. This is my history, and this is therefore I can tell my my officer, my lieutenant, I killed an enemy. This is due to this makes this possible, and this again is a very good example, because there the castration can go up to not too much jouissance. Not too much jouissance. Do not let your drive take you too far, because there your castration means you're going to be killed. Okay, so what I don't know what else to say. Do you want to comment, or do you have suggestions or questions? As you said, John, last time, it's when there is no comment means either you have been very bad or very brilliant. You see, that's again there. You see where it stands.
One of the parallels between the line between the signified of the other, and the signifier of the lack of the other, and the subject is marked by the drive, is that in that the drives are partial, they have a grammar, which means that they're taken bit by bit and in a specific order, a specific way, just like there's a well-formed sentence and there's a poorly formed sentence, one that is grammatically correct and one that's grammatically incorrect.
Oh yeah, that's a very good remark, because it's a very interesting remark, because grammatically correct in this occurrence, in this case, is very different from from what we expect when we are supposed to have a grammatically to make grammatically correct sentences as we learn at school, for instance. Because okay, look. What is put there is the question of the desire. In what way? In the way that first, if we come to what we have learned at school, I can make extremely poor I can make sentences that are extremely false on the grammatical point of view, and nonetheless the person I'm talking to is going to understand what I'm saying. Okay? This is very important to grab. But it's very interesting to bring that back to grammatically poor or rich, because it's on. Okay, let's say I come back. If I make a sentence which is very poor and you understand it nonetheless, it means that my desire for you to understand what I'm saying is more important than the syntax. And below the syntax, you grab the desire. And because you are someone with desire as well, you can grab my desire and you understand my sentence. Conversely, I can make sentences that are that are perfect on the grammatical sense, but which are totally deprived of desire. And there you are not going to understand what I'm saying. Look at some political guys. They are very good at that. They can talk hours and you don't understand one word, but it's perfectly perfect. So it's what you are saying is very interesting, because it's another way to talk about syntax. It's a syntax which is stuck with desire, and not a syntax which is stuck with English or French teacher or the academy.
Well, in other words, it would be to say from something else that I read, that it's the interest that constitutes really the subject and object. Otherwise,
the sound is very low. Excuse me, the sound is very low. I don't hear what you're saying.
the sound doesn't come through. No.
Yes, but very low.
Yeah. Yeah. What I was saying is that the observation is that it is the interest that is really constituting the subject and object in any relations of acquiring knowledge or in any sort of interaction. So that has been stated so by some other writers, not really Lacan, but for example Hannah Arendt. That's the story of the book. There are really the relations between things are constituted by interest.
It's hard to understand. Maybe you should put your microphone closer to your mouth.
It's very close.
Oh.
It used to work. something.
Say the end of what you said again.
the relations between that the subject and object are constituted by the interest that really exists between them. Otherwise, without the interest between which in Lacanian terms would be the desire, then there's just formless stuff going on. The world is kind of indifferent and talks about the interest as actually constitutes what is what we recognize, any recognizable stuff that is there.
Yes, but the term interest is a bit too ambiguous. I think it's well, I wouldn't say that desire is not ambiguous. It is very ambiguous as well, but it's well, okay. So, what else?
Well, another thing I was thinking about, can you hear me now?
Yep.
I was thinking about the correspondence between of this graph, of the complete graph of desire, with your presentation last time, when we had the two sides of the disk. I mean, that's how the object of experience becomes an object of desire, object of reality becomes an object of desire. So to me, the upper part of the graph that you just put out corresponds to this imaginary part of the disk. Is it? Or
yes. I would put it that way. There are always two or three ways to talk about to describe the subject of the unconscious, and my way of doing it is to use what's the most appropriate for what I'm saying. For instance, as you know, there is a corpuscular and wave conception of light, and these two conceptions you don't use them together when you want to describe some phenomena as waves. Then you use this theory, and when you want to use some grains of lights, you use the other theory, and there it's about the same in the way that it's a point of view. It's a point of view to describe what's in a sentence. What's in a sentence that starts and finished by a period, and then if you see this from the side of the object here, and the drive, then and the treasure of your previous experiences, then probably it's going to be easier to use the disk that I described last time. We are, the funny thing is that all the scientists, the physicists, they are trying to invent a unary conception of the world, and there we are not at this point. We are using whatever is the easiest way to listen to our analysis.
Yeah, I understand. I'm all for that. It's very important to take the efficacy of the process into account, and then you use the perspective that actually suits the goal. And, sometimes the goal is the understanding, and if the understanding is the goal, then you are driven to unify theories as much as you can, and mathematics is a tool for doing this, and there has been partly an effort to do that too in this seminar, really, because you want to put a conceptual framework on that, but you only go so far as you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. Okay. So maybe this concludes the first series of the 5 lectures, and on my side, on my point of view, I say that I think that now I'm feeling a bit more at ease to talk to you, but the first 2 lessons were really hard because it's and now there is a friend Philippe here who is helping me, so I don't have to take care of the machines, and this frees my mind quite a lot, and well, that's how it is. Chris, do you have some things to say?
Yes, Jacques, thank you very much, and I'm glad. I mean, we expected that there was gonna be a little bit of an adjustment. We have experienced that when we first started with the WebEx, and it's not perfect, but it allows us to be in touch with you and hear your teachings and your understandings of Lacan on a more regular basis, and I really appreciate your willingness to do it with us through this medium. So I hope we can continue to offer this opportunity to hear from you in the years to come. I'm also looking forward to having you with us in person in just a couple of weeks. So just to remind everybody, our immersion will start on Thursday the 17th with the case conference, and then we'll go on with the poetics. For the film, Jacques will be showing and discussing the film titled "The Cave of the Deer." Is it?
The cave of the deers, which is a fascinating topological approach and understanding of a cave in the south of Italy. And it's a very good friend of mine, who Ambrogio Gabbiati, who made that film, and we should have it. We are going to have it with us at the next immersion, and I really will like to present that to you, because it's. What's interesting in this film is that when you see films about caves, usually what is shown is the dexterity and the creativity of the painters of these rupesters drawings, and but you will see that the approach of Ambrogio is very different. It's he was stuck in the topological approach of this cave, and he discovered things that I think wouldn't have been possible to discover by someone else, because it's he was not interested in the aesthetic rendering of the paintings, but only on the topological approach. You'll see that. It's I love this film.
Great. I forgot to mention that on Thursday, Magdalena is going to be presenting the case, so we look forward to that. And also on Sunday, November 20th, Jacques will deliver another talk related directly to topology. So
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be on the four discourses. I think.
Okay.
Probably.
Great.
And lastly, I also want to thank John Gasparoni. John, thank you so much for being with us in this seminar and offering your thinking and your work, particularly for this session when Jacques couldn't be with us because he was traveling. So thanks a lot. It's good to have you with us, and we look forward to hearing more from you. We will be offering John's graphs and schemes course, so hopefully we can have more focused study with you, John, as well.
One last word. One last word is that as you know now, probably I put every session, every lecture on YouTube. And the quality is better than what's going through WebEx, because it's a different camera, and I'm building a site called with it's written there. It's www.topologos.org, where it's where anyone can put his research. Okay.
Great. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's just I'm just building it. I just built the scheme. The structure is made, but the contents are not in it so far. But I'm gonna make some links to the YouTube lectures and so on and so forth, and you're welcome to add whatever you wish to put in this site when it's operational.
Great,
Okay.
and we'll also link it to our website here in the US. Absolutely. Jacques, do you have a channel on YouTube?
Yes, sure. Sure. It's called Topologos. It's called Topologos. You type just type Topologos, and you will access to what I've put so far, and you're gonna have an access to the film of the Cave of the Deer, which is on YouTube as well. But of course, it's not the quality that what you will see when we are going to see it in San Francisco. But you can. But it's in French, and hopefully I'll bring a version which is going to be subtitled. I hope I'm going to have it before I leave France.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jacques.
Thank you. Welcome.
And we will
My pleasure.
be in touch.
Yeah.
Great.
Excellent.
Have a
Very
good
good.
night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much.